Hi everyone! Welcome to Doodle Party. My name is Miss Shanta, and today we're going to go through different shapes and designs that you can use to create a really cool and interesting page. You'll learn how to combine different elements to create different designs on your page. So why doodle? Well, you can have fun, you can relax, you can use your creativity. You can use your imagination to let go and see where ideas take you. So first you're going to need some supplies. For drawing, you can use a pen or a pencil, or if you'd rather use something with color, you can use a marker or a crayon. We're also going to do some coloring, so you're going to need some items like a crayon or a marker, or if you'd rather use a pencil or a pen, if you have that as well. Use what you have on hand. You're also going to need a few sheets of blank paper as well. Let's get started. Once you have your supplies, you'll start on your paper by doodling circles of different sizes. I'm using a pen, but you can use anything you have on hand. Pencil, crayon, marker. Use what you have and begin. I'm moving around on my page, drawing different sized circles. You can also do different sized shapes as well. Squares, circles, triangles, anything that you can think of to begin, to get your hand moving across the page. My circles vary in size, but if you're comfortable, you can do circles of the same size or branch out and try different sizes. Next, I'm doing squares all over my page. I'm also doing different sizes. Next, I'm overlapping my shapes, making circles over squares, squares over circles, just adding some interesting designs to my page. You can draw as big as you'd like when you're overlapping your shapes, when you're drawing your shapes. If you need more paper, add another sheet. This is basically a warm-up to get your hand moving, to get ideas flowing, to get going and get something on the page. Next, I'm drawing different styles of lines. I'm starting off with dashes, going in different directions, moving around the page also, just like I did with my shapes. I'm doing zigzag lines, like grass, and wavy lines as well. You can experiment with making lines thick or thin, long or short, and that go in different directions. Next, I'm making smaller lines that fit inside my shapes. Wavy lines, the same lines from before, dash lines, zigzag lines as well. You can repeat the patterns of the lines inside the shapes if you'd like. Or you can leave it simple. Leave some shapes without lines, add more lines to other shapes. Next, I'm adding lines around my shapes. I'm not doing it to every shape, so this will make some shapes stand out more than others and leave others more simple. Adding dashed lines, wavy lines as well. Zigzag lines too. Next, I'm using a marker. Taking my blue marker and adding some color to the page. I'm starting off by coloring in some of my shapes with my blue marker. You can also try alternating, outlining your shape in one color, like a border, and then coloring in with a different color. For now, I'm just coloring in these shapes with this one color. If you don't have markers, you can use things like pencils, crayons, to add color to your page. Use what you've got. Next, I'm using my pink marker to add more color. I'm outlining some of the lines that I drew on my page, like the wavy one right there. The zigzag one too. You can use different types of colors, like the pink that's bright versus the blue that's a little darker. The contrast makes an interesting image. I'm coloring in the lines inside of my shapes. I'm moving around my page with the color that I'm using. I'm not putting the one color solely at the top or at the bottom of the page. I'm mixing it up. You can choose to arrange your colors as you wish. I'm using my green marker to go around some of my shapes as well. I'm outlining this shape and then filling it in with color. This one too. Also this little circle at the bottom. I'm going over some of my lines on top, leaving the original marks bare. I'm going back with my blue marker to add more detail. You can choose to fill your page completely, or just leave it as you wish. Whatever comes to mind. I'm even drawing some new lines that didn't exist before, like this border around this square, and this square around the other square. I'm letting my hand move across the page. You can add as many details as you'd like. I added some little dashes, some little circles. There's no right or wrong way to make your doodle. Whatever you think is best. I'm adding lots of little details, little lines, lots of outlines. I'm keeping the same simple shapes that I started with as a running theme. The circles, the squares, the lines too. And I'm just repeating them over and over with different colors in different directions. Just letting my imagination guide me. Next, I'm coloring in parts of the shapes. I'm outlining certain shapes, coloring those in. In some areas, I'll leave blank as well. You might be surprised at what appeals to you, what you discover. I'm going over some of my wiggly lines. Some of my dashed lines too. Even adding a dashed border around that circle. The possibilities are endless. I'm adding an outline to the square. You can make your illustration, your doodle, as complex or as simple as you'd like. A cool thing about doodles is there's really no end to them. I suppose you can run out of paper or run out of ink, but really it's your imagination that can limit you. So just try to relax and enjoy the process. I'm adding more outlines and more shapes around shapes. Next, I decided to start with pencil this time, using the same exercise that we did with the first doodle. I start with the same circles, different sizes all over my page. If you have more than one tool, like a pen or pencil, you can try this at home. Using a pencil versus using a pen can give you a different look. The pencil is a different color than the black of the pen. Next, I'm doing some squares of different sizes. Now I'm overlapping like we did earlier. Squares with squares, squares with circles, circles and squares. Just adding to my design. You can create some really interesting designs just by adding simple shapes on top of each other. Continuing on with basic ideas. Next, I'm adding some lines. Zigzag. In different directions too. Some dash lines. Some wavy lines as well. I'm going inside my shapes with some dash lines too. Zigzag. Wavy. You can repeat the lines inside your shapes, or you can just put one line or half a line. Next, I'm starting to go around my shapes with some lines. First, I did the dash line up at the top. Now I'm doing some dashed lines towards the bottom. that wavy line in the left corner at the bottom. Adding a little zigzag. For adding color, I chose to use some crayons. Again, if you don't have crayons or if you prefer, you can use marker, pencil, even color pen. I started off with my green crayon. You can choose as many colors as you'd like. I'm just using a few. I'm using the same color in different areas around on my page to color in different shapes and different parts of shapes. I'm coloring in lines. Next, I'm using my purple crayon coloring in parts of shapes. The possibilities really are endless. You can even use two colors in the same shape. You can try drawing shapes inside of shapes with your colors. Adding lines. I'm going along my line, my wavy line, with that same purple crayon. Next, I'm using my orange crayon to do the same thing, coloring in parts of other shapes. Outlining shapes. I'm going along my zigzag line. Adding color to your page can really make the shape stand out, and using different colors can make certain areas pop. Next, I'm adding color around my shapes. Adding color around the shapes can make certain shapes pop out. It's also a way to link together more than one shape that aren't necessarily close together. With the same color, it makes it more cohesive. It joins them together in a way with that one linking color. You can choose to color around your shapes or even color the whole page. You can also add a border to your doodle. Adding in color on the background, especially with crayon, can give you some interesting texture. The lines I'm making in the background are kind of jagged or rough, like scribbles. Next, I used my last page to just draw in pencil. You can achieve some really cool effects by just using one different type of medium. We've used pen, we've used crayon, we've used marker. Let's see what we can do with pencil. I did my usual circles. Now I'm adding some squares. Next, I'm overlapping shapes. I'm adding some lines, starting with zigzag, dashes, wavy lines, Then I added some lines inside of my shapes. You can experiment with repeating lines inside of your shapes or also in the background. I added some dashed lines around my shapes. Some wavy lines. Next, I started coloring in my shapes with my pencil. Depending on how hard I pressed with my pencil, I achieved a certain look, different looks, with the same pencil. Again, I'm coloring in different areas on my page, different shapes, and parts of shapes. Coloring in some of my existing lines. Outlining my wavy one. Next, I'm trying coloring in around some of my shapes. Because I'm using loose lines, keeping my hand light and coloring quickly, I give the appearance of some movement on my page where I colored around my shapes. The shapes look almost like they're wiggling at the bottom. You can try outlining some shapes and leaving the insides blank, or outlining them and coloring them in. I'm going above some of my lines and adding some new ones. Adding some wavy lines. just enjoying the process as I'm wrapping it up. And that's it. I'm just about finished. So I really hope you enjoyed that lesson. What did you discover? Which shapes or designs did you create? Were there some that you liked more than others? Take a look and see what you found out when you made marks on the page. Don't forget to share your artwork with the Calabasas Live, LIB, SRP20 hashtag on social media. Check out what others created and share your designs as well. Thank you.